Om salutations to Bhagwan Sri Ram Krishna. We are going today in our sixth class of the second series on meditation skills for meditators. We are going to look at transformation of the meditator. We have a common saying, you are what you eat. This is countered by some say, well, you are what you digest. And this is also countered by some who say, actually, the whole digestive process depends on your microbiome. So there you have. You have yourself, you have food, and you have something that connects you and the food. So similarly, we are going to, in this transformation of the self, we can bring in, there are three factors. The first factor is knower, the object of knowledge, and the act of knowing. The knower is the subject. The object of knowledge is obviously the object of knowledge. And the process of knowing, the act of knowing. Now, but we are talking about the expansion of knowledge. Yes, meditation brings in knowledge. This is very important. Every time you meditate, you increase your own knowledge, and it is knowledge that transforms you, the meditator. So just remember these three things: the subject, the knower, the object of knowledge, the object of meditation, and the act of knowledge. So if you replace knowledge with meditator, then you have this whole thing. The second is expansion. So you expand yourself. How? There are people who have been meditating and there have been transformation in oneself. But if we can keep in mind three things for the object of meditation, which will help in the expansion of knowledge, and that is name, form, and attributes. These three things have to be thought of in the object of meditation. Otherwise, it will be just a kind of a mechanical process. The third is we are going to look at practice, how to focus on the object of meditation. So we see that there are these three factors. It's called a Triputi Bheda. That is the threefold differentiation. So you have the knower, the meditator, the known, the object of meditation, and knowledge that connects them. This process, very few can kindly discern one from the other. They are so, you can say, integrated. We simply cannot separate the knower from the known and the process of knowledge. So when you're meditating, the object of meditation is moving about, that's okay. But that act of meditation has become fused, as it were, in you. Expert yogis, expert meditators can separate the three things very clearly. So just remember, these are the threefold dynamics that are going on within us in every moment. Now, we must understand there are three things. There is a neuroplasticity of the brain. It has been completely you can say, evidenced in every field, in neurology, in psychology, and everywhere, that we change our brain with every cognition, with everything we do, our brain changes. Number one. The brain is the material object. The mind, which is an abstract object, is also subject to this. You change your mind every time you do something. There is another factor that is supposed to be the cerebral cortex, which makes us what we are: human, civilized, cultured. It is this frontal lobe, this neocortex in the brain. Part of the brain, it defines us, as I say, our intelligence. A major part of the neocortex which has been folded around here on the brain, acts as an inhibitory factor. Now you must understand that there are certain things you would like to do, but there is something that kind of say, oh no. This is all the training and all that we have absorbed through a culture and a civilization. It acts as a kind of a break. In old Freudian psychology, it was called a super ego. That the ego has to work within its kind of confines, it dictates. And there is another factor called reinforcement. You do a particular task or thought or an emotion comes, and then after a while, if you repeat that, the first emotion or thought or word or whatever gets reinforced. This is also important. So these three things: neuroplasticity, then you have something called inhibitory, you can say, functions of the mind, and as well as you have the reinforcement. Okay. There is a verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says, Dhyayato Vishayan. When you think of an object, what happens? There grows an attachment. From attachment grows desire. From desire, when it's thwarted, comes anger. And from anger, krodod bhavati sammoha, comes delusion. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. And from delusion, the loss of memory. You've lost all what you have done, all the reinforcements, everything that you've done. Smritir bhramshat buddhi nasho. And when there is a kind of a loss of memory, there is a loss of intelligence. Intelligence kind of destroyed. And when that intelligence is destroyed, what happens is a person is finished. So this whole thing, dhyayato vishayan pungsa sangasteshu pajayati sangat sanjayatika. So it rolls down. I was talking about the whole the Bhagavad Gita. In this particular verse, in the second chapter, we have what is called how a person, when the person is thinking deeply on something over and over and over again, reinforcing things, then attachment grows to it, infatuation, and after infatuation, and the desire for that object, and the desire and then anger, etc. The whole series repeats itself. The same principle can be used in order to put something positive. This is the idea in meditation. So when you're constantly thinking of an object, there grows an attachment. And then when there's an attachment, there's a desire to attain that object. Now, how do we start to building up this first thing? So the moment you start thinking of an object, you've become fused by it. Now, if the object is thought of as, you can say, divine, then what happens is you are the subject and then you have the object of meditation. These are the two things which are completely separate. And we have something called the subject and the object. You are meditating on one of them. Now the object is divine. You take any object, but it has to be thought of as divine. Then what happens is there will be a transformation within yourself. Your own divinity will be awakened by meditating on something which is divine. So you have the subject and then you have the object of meditation. So both these things are actually dynamic. It's not that the subject is still, the meditator, the object. Then the second process is, as you keep on meditating and meditating and meditating the subject and the object, then what happens? There is a gradual shift. The object of the process of meditation is this. The object comes and fuses into the subject. This is extremely important. A divine object, a divine subject has not become fused in you. You are transformed. Now, what gives us this conceptualization that yes, we are the subject, and as a subject we are meditating on the object? There are three factors that are important. Take any object for that matter, any object. What we are doing is we are attributing, we already see that there has in every object of meditation a name and a form, and there is also a meaning of that object or attributes. If we can, while meditating, keep in mind these three parts or integral aspects of the object of meditation, then the meditation becomes beautiful, joyous, and transformative. There are people who have been saying that I've been meditating for years and nothing's happening. Oh, why is that? There should never be this kind of dismay or the disillusionment in meditation. No. Meditation is a dynamic process between these three. The subject and the object and the process. And the object, as it were, merges in the subject, which is extremely important. How? It becomes so transparent. The object is still, the subject, the meditator becomes still, and then there's a reflection of the object in the subject, and then there is the gradual merging of these two things. This is the process of meditation. Every time you meditate, this transformation will take place. These three things, the knower, the object of knowledge, and the process of knowledge will fuse and become one. And if you can do that every time you meditate, it will be wonderful. It will be enlightening. It will be illuminating. So we need to always have these three: name, form, and attributes. Nama, Rupa, and Artha. So, how do we start? Okay. Now, take any object. In the practice, we will see the practice. Take any object. Let's say we are taking the symbol Om. Okay. Now, this is a symbol that you are seeing on the screen. When you are looking at that screen, what I'm going to do is take you through the 3 steps. That is, try to trace with your mind's eye every aspect of that symbol. Okay? It's like a kind of a funny looking tree with a tail and a kind of with a hat with a feather in it. Look at that. Trace it with your mind's eye. Okay. Now, when you are looking at that, that is the form. The sound of that or the name of that is Om. So you're looking at a name. You know you also know the form. Okay. Om, and that's a symbol. And what does it mean? What are its attributes? Its attributes are, it is a symbol of the whole universe. It's a symbol of God. It is from where all creation has emerged. It is your secret symbol. You are represented by that sound Om. It is the waking, dream, and deep sleep, or creation, preservation, destruction. Repeated over and over again. Ma. These 3 aspects are creation, preservation, destruction. It is the symbol of God. Now, when you have all these attributes and meanings attached to this one form and name, this is how you need to now meditate. Okay. Now, for starters, okay, close your eyes, please. Now, you had seen the symbol and you had traced with your mind's eye the figure, the form, the rupa. Try to visualize that form now. Try to visualize that form. And now repeat Om. While visualizing that Om, repeat this sound. Om. Om. So you've got 2 things already, the name and the form, the nama and the rupa of this symbol Om. It's a neutral symbol. Now I would like you to think of its meaning. It is a symbol of God. It's a symbol of creation. It is your secret symbol. So remember, this is the meaning of this sound and this is the meaning of this symbol. So we can again open the eyes for a while and look at the symbol. Watch it for a while. Trace with your mind's eye the entire symbol. It's the most sacred symbol, which is the essence of the Vedas. Now close your eyes, please, and repeat Om while visualizing that symbol. Om. Om. Now think of its meaning. Om. Open your eyes, please. I'll give you a little background of things. So, we had spoken about three things: the name, form, and attributes. We also have to understand those three other things that happen: the reinforcement, the inhibitory, you can say, action of the cerebral cortex, and the neuroplasticity of the brain and the mind. All these three things that happen in the brain, which are transformative, depends on one thing, and that is awareness. When you meditate, you are bringing into focus, or we can speak about it as mindfulness. When you're mindful of the process of meditation, the object of meditation, what happens is you are transforming yourself through this instrument called awareness. It is as simple as that. So when you are aware, you transform yourself through this. And in the process, your mind also is inhibited. It does not go to external things. It reinforces itself and it changes. The brain changes, the mind changes. Awareness. So these three factors: the subject of meditation, the object of meditation, the subject who meditates, and the process. These three things are integral in every act. The meditator is transformed by the object of meditation. And as it comes closer and closer and closer, you find the process becomes so dynamic, and later on it merges in itself. If these three things are taken care of, name, form, and attributes of that object of meditation, you can have that transformative, you can say, dynamism building up very quickly. I have used a symbol Om. When you meditate at home in your private space, you can take any symbol you like or that you are used to. You can take any name and form. Take the name and form of Ramakrishna or Vivekananda or Holy Mother or Shiva or Vishnu or the goddess. You can take any of the innumerable. But what symbol and what name and what form you take, its attributes have to be part of that meditative process. So when you are visualizing Sri Ramakrishna, That is the form, the name Ram Krishna. You can also use a mantra that is being given to you. That is even more powerful. And think of Ram Krishna as an incarnation of God. Think that he is your inner soul. Think that he is full of bliss. He is the embodiment of Sat and Chit and Ananda. Infinite existence, consciousness, and bliss. So the moment you meditate on an object as infinite knowledge or existence, consciousness, and bliss, there is a tremendous transformation of the self, the meditator. Then there will be a tremendous joy also in meditation. Every time you meditate, you are unraveling your own divinity. You are manifesting your own spiritual self. This is a skill that every meditator should inculcate in his or her meditative practices. It's extremely important. And then you see the rapid progress that is made in these meditative sessions. Okay. So we are talking about the Bhagavad Gita as, when you think about an object, you get attached to it, and then you get there's a desire that grows for it, and then the anger that rises, and etc., the whole steps. But now we have used those same processes, but now the object is divine. When the Gita said, Dhyayato Vishayan Pungsa, Vishayan, an object, and any worldly object. If you remove that worldly object and put a divine object, then the whole process has become transformative. This is the idea. So in that, the last series of the Bhagavad Gita, where it says that Buddhi Nashat Pranashi, with the destruction, with the you can say, when the mind, when the intelligence is destroyed, the person is destroyed. Here now what happens is, with the rise, the transformation of the intelligence in this meditation, the person is saved, the person is transformed, the person becomes divine. So instead of that ball falling down the stairs, step by step, we have reversed the process. Now we're taking the ball right above the steps, step by step. Okay, we'll stop here for questions if there are.
Question. I used to see some images, forms in meditation. Now they've stopped coming up. This made me a bit anxious. Now I see a circle of light with blue or purple color. Am I going in the right direction?
Depends on what you were meditating upon. Were you meditating on a blue circle or etc.? If you are meditating, for instance, on the symbol Om, like we did today, you have to again and again bring that object and clearly visualize it in your mind's eye. Any other disturbance, any other objects that come has to be pushed out. So in the previous this also classes also we had mentioned that the object of the meditation should be focused upon, it should be clearly defined, and it should be shining. Forget all things. In fact, it's a good thing that all those kind of things, that colors and other shapes and sounds that used to come, they have gone, thank God. You have to focus on the object of meditation. If it goes to the left, bring it back in. If it goes to the right, bring it back in. It has to be done over and over and over, 1,000,000 times if necessary. And then it gets stabilized.
Pranam Maharaj, what do you mean that the symbol is my secret symbol?
Yes, the symbol Om is your secret symbol. You are also part of the universe. You are part of the divinity. That is actually your secret symbol, your Om. In the highest states of consciousness, you will hear that sound pervading the universe. In the individuals in the body, you will hear that sound when your mind reaches up here, the Anahata chakra. It's called the Anahata. You will hear that sound spontaneously rising from your heart. Oh, and you will become attracted, drawn to it, and you will find your identity with it. Go for it.
Another question just came. Pranam Maharaj, can one meditate on blankness? I find it very difficult to get a symbol in my mind's eye.
You know what? In fact, just before the class, I was thinking of people who close your eyes and meditate on blankness. You are ultimately going to become blank also. If you're going to meditate on blankness, you're going to meditate. That is reserved for the extremely competent yogis who can meditate on blankness, that is the shunya. There is nothing there. Just a place where there is no name, no form, no meaning or attributes there. That is the stage where you should not, you can say, start from the very beginning. So all teachers have spoken about, even Patanjali in the yoga aphorism, they say, you must take a symbol, you must take a form, a divine form, and start. So what happens is, Patanjali says, abhava pratyaya, then it is shunya, vritti shunya. So when you meditate on something blankness, you'll fall asleep. So that's important, to keep an object that is bright and shining. Now, suppose you say, I want to see a kind of a blank screen, but I want to repeat the mantra. Yeah, you're going halfway. Use that name, use a form, and use attributes. If you're going to meditate properly, this is all meditations on divine forms and on Saguna Brahman recommend these three aspects: name, form, and the attributes of that object. This will hasten your process of meditation.
Another question. What is the relationship of Om and Shiva?
Om. Oh my God. Om is related to everything. Everything. It has Swami Vivekananda says, every religious development from the lowest to the highest has been associated with Om. Om is another name for Shiva. You heard Shiva? Yes, Shiva. Shiva. Another name for Shiva is Om, a higher aspect of Shiva. Okay? That which is beyond form is Om. So it is the most sacred symbol from where the Vedas have emerged. It is the symbol of two things, like the Upanishads speak. Etadeva aksharam brahma, etadeva aksharam param. It is the symbol of the manifested Brahman. It is a symbol also of the unmanifested Brahman. That is the relative and the absolute. So Shiva in his absolute nature is thought of as Om.
Question came. Does direction or room of meditation matter? Does it have to be specific, the direction or the room?
Yes, you need to have a kind of a specific uh, location. Generally, we face towards the north or towards the east, number one. And if it is not possible, well, it doesn't matter. It's not absolutely necessary. Secondly, you must be able to meditate in that same room or place every time you go because of association. Every time you meditate in a particular place, all the divine thoughts are associated with that meditation and the place becomes holy. You are transforming that place or the room that you sit in and meditate. So it's not absolutely imperative that you do that according to the rules laid down. The important thing is to meditate in a place. So that is conducive. As long as you have that, that's okay.
Question came about the last class. Question about previous class. Sense of being insulted corresponds to egotism, right? So, by going what you said, we need a counter thought for egoism. What is that counter thought?
Oh, the counter thought is the ego is a puny, delusive mechanism. There's a greater entity, a greater power above the ego, and that is divinity, your own divinity. It's like, you know what? I'll tell you what. You are looking, California has beautiful, bright skies, but for the last 1 week, we've had, clouds coming in. So a small patch of cloud comes and covers the whole of the sun. Really, it's not possible. How can a small patch of cloud cover the massive sun? It appears to cover because of a line of vision. So the ego is nothing but a small patch of cloud covering your own divinity. Push it away. So the practical aspect is whenever you think you're insulted, okay, what happens is think of something unselfish. Think of some aspect of love. Think of some aspect within you that is compassionate and where you have displayed that compassion. Where you have been loved or you have loved others unselfishly. There's a great future for your unselfishness and morality. Have that in mind, and then the insult will become less stinging. Okay. We stop here for today. We take up another aspect of this meditation skills next Saturday again. We're going to talk about the 3 types of spaces that we experience all the time, but we do not know. Okay. We know time and space is okay. That's we will discuss that in the next class on Saturday. That will give us another insight into how to sharpen our meditation. Tomorrow we have Sri Ramakrishna's birthday celebrated here. It starts from 10 o'clock and it will go right down till the fire sacrifices at 2 o'clock. And at 4:30 again we have talks with Swami Sarvadevananda and Satyamananda, followed by the Vespers. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.